Make sure we're good to go. Cool. All right. Welcome back again. We're ready to get this going again.
Yep,
Pretty excited.
I am.
Pretty excited. So it's been a crazy time in the world since the last time we met.
Yeah, it
There's
has.
some big advancements in AI. I mean, the world's a little bit different. You know, we got a little war going on.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
Got some stuff.
that a little bit different is happening at
Fast pace.
at a pace never seen before.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So in your world, how have things changed, do you think, the most?
From AI?
Or in this perspective, anything? I mean, like for me, in my world, of course, the oil prices going up from what's going on in Iran is, made rates rise, and has, changed the whole spectrum of where they think the market is, where rates are going, for the short time being.
Yeah.
AI has drastically changed a lot of the things in my industry. I mean, everybody's seen that, or at least if they watch the news, they've seen in the mortgage industry, they've seen that OpenAI, or ChatGPT, as everybody knows it, has said that they're going to be able to underwrite a file in 37 seconds.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Partnering up with Better. So there's a lot of changes in my world. What about your world?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's some, you got this tidal wave of change with AI.
Yeah.
And so in my world, just to start from, my professional standpoint, there's been a lot of conversations about, is AI going to remove the need for financial advisors?
Sure.
Because of how proficient it is in any number of areas that otherwise would have taken, that knowledge base, the experience, the know-how, the know where to find things to help build out, a financial plan. So I've been listening to a lot of commentary on that. And so, the jury's still out there with a lot of this stuff. It's obvious that the abilities of AI far exceed that of most any profession or service. And infused into machining, et cetera, you're talking about capabilities that are just going to continue to improve.
And the video guy came out, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and said that they think they have AGI, which is general intelligence, which is what everybody's trying to get to. And that's where it can think for itself. And so that's what he said the other day. Now, he could be just rattling the cage for, valuations for his company and other AI companies. And he did say that. And if you haven't used some of the new stuff that's come out, then you wouldn't understand how crazy it's gotten. Like, you can literally set up agents. I know everybody hears about OpenClaw and all the other stuff. Recently Claude came out with its co-work stuff. And so you can actually.
And I've been exploring that a little bit. Yeah. So I've been trying to keep up. So I think one thing that's very important is it's coming. It's here. It's rapidly improving upon a base that was already pretty impressive.
Yep.
So I think from my vantage point, whatever profession you're in, or even just utilizing your day to day, you've got to do your part in keeping up with it. And I think that's separate from the conversation of the displacement fears associated with people's professions. So I think you can channel it in a positive way and try to do your part to keep up. And that
I think this is where we differ, though.
It is where we differ.
Yeah, we 100% differ.
We do differ there.
You think it's like a computer, and I think it's not. And you think it's a tool, and I don't.
I know.
You think it's something somebody can use. I think it's replacement. It's going to actually do the jobs of humans. Where you think it's a tool to help humans work better.
Well,
that's where we disagree, I think.
I think we do disagree with that, but I think fundamentally, this is a tool that humans created.
For the time being.
For the time being, now we're getting into iRobot.
For the time being?
The robots are taking over.
Well, eventually the AI will make its own, it'll do its own work, and it'll create its own systems. It does it right now. I mean, if you've actually done things, I mean, we're doing things where it's creating websites, creating landing pages for us from prompts. I mean, I made it make a whole golf app for my golf league.
That still sounds like a tool to me.
Oh, it is a tool until it creates for itself. So you're a boss, you own a company, right? So now I own the company and I want to create XYZ. I just have to tell it into existence. I don't have to go hire Tim to make it happen.
That's true, but the constructs that exist currently as to why Tim exists and why he's on the short list of why you might hire Tim is because we've created this as a society. There is a need for it, and you're going to say that need's going to go away, but you're also relying on humans to trash that role as part of that process.
So you don't think any jobs will go away in high levels?
Oh no, jobs are absolutely going to go away.
Employees, though, you will see billion-dollar organizations with one employee in the near future. You will. It'll all be AI. Now, the one employee will be the person that started the idea and came up with it, and AI will manage.
Now that's a big bet.
100% you will.
Yeah, that does. Well, then
I got people that don't even know how to set up a Facebook by forcing them to use just even the Claude Cowork, building out full financial models. They're very not high level computer savvy. They're smart people, but they're not computer savvy. And I pushed them down that path, and they've been able to create with Claude Cowork projects. They've been able to create financial models where you save spreadsheets to your desktop, and it breaks out forecasting, financials, how profitable you'll be, when you'll be profitable.
But in this scenario, you're eventually removing the person or persons who are creating these models utilizing AI.
I'm removing the entire financial forecasting person, the person that's doing the modeling. All that will, once this is built, and it's active and it's tested and it works, all someone will have to do is export the CSV file, save it to the folder, and that's it. Or have someone, so like for instance, if I want a financial, let's say I'm bringing on a branch and I want to validate how long it's going to take them to get profitable, right? So I want to bring them on. I can have them give me X amount of their, last 12 months, last 6 months of their P&L. I can slap it into this folder and it'll say, okay, here's what it looks like. Here's what their forecasting is. Here's when they're going to break even. Here's what their profitability is. Here's what they need to put their margins at. Here's where they, to be profitable, if they want to drop them, here's what it looks like. It's not just like this, like they like to say, play on paper to see how rich I can get real quick. Because that's all fake. Like, oh, you're going to do $5 million the first month, then you're going to do $10 million the next month, then you're going to do $20 million the month after that, when they don't even have a historical of that. So like that's what they currently do, and they make them rich on paper. Now you can hand someone like, here off of your historicals, here's what it kind of looks like with market trends. Yeah. Because it uses market trends and it uses deviations to then say, okay, here's what it really kind of looks like.
Yeah, and here in recent history, you would have relied on specialized software. So software has been hit significantly from both a public and private equity standpoint in my world. So that's been a big topic of conversation that AI is replacing and significantly reducing the valuation of these companies. Yeah. Because these are service model businesses.
Yeah, what about with yours? Like, is it mostly software that's getting replaced right now in your industry, do you see? People not yet, because they need people like to deal with.
Yeah, well, you can see that. So instead of paying for a financial planning software specifically, as you become proficient in leveraging, these AI tools, you're realizing that you have something that's easier to pump with information. Yeah. You don't have to learn that software. You can then mold it into something that you want. Yep. And then you can create it, and you can speak far more intelligently about this.
You can prompt it, the dashboards that you like it, that you like.
Create the project or the.
That's the hard part about software, and this is where it's going to drastically change. Is software, at least, and I'm sure in your world and in my world, is like, here's what the person who developed the software likes things to look like.
There you go.
Here's how they like to see things. That is not consistent across everybody.
Correct.
Where now with AI, you can create that same situation, but then you could prompt it to change the view, the dashboard, how things are reported to you, when they're reported.
Yeah. So to go back to your kind of, like the core of your thesis, eventually the software companies go away in this, in your idea of what this looks like in the future, because the AI tool itself can be the thinker behind what's needed within the framework of the demand for, say, that niche software.
Yep.
So you might look at it today and go, these software companies they have expertise in niche pockets of business or industry, et cetera. that eventually will be removed entirely because the actual thought process or the expertise within that niche can be replaced by the smartest person in the room, which is the AI machine.
Yeah. So this is how it works. Like, I agree with you. Like, but that's where it starts. So like, it moves forward from there. Like, just the last, let's just go the last 6 months. So 6-7 months ago, I was making a website for this avenue I'm working on, and I have never made anything in my entire life. Website design, back end. And I'm not a dummy, so I can't say anybody can do it. But in all reality, like I've never done one before. So I picked Webflow. I then used ChatGPT to then tell me how to make a website. Made a full website with multiple pages, designed it, had actions happen, and created all the pages. Like all the design, did all the backside of it all by help. Now, 6 months later, I don't even need to do that. Now I can just literally go to any of these sites and say, hey, make this site look like this. I don't even have to learn that I have to click this button, push this thing, make this thing happen to create the website. All I have to do is just prompt it and say, hey, make this site. So that's 6 months. I wasted my time. It probably took me, like since I'm a video gamer, I'll say 60 hours, right? It was a 60-hour game for me. But I don't need that anymore. That whole situation, that's 6 months later, I can now just prompt it and make the whole site again.
And by prompt it, just tell it what you want to.
No. Change the color. No. Move that there. No. When you click that, make this happen. No. Have this do this.
That's amazing.
That is it now.
It's amazing. Now the bigger
6 months.
Now the bigger picture that you're painting, not too far in the distant future, is that the human beings even prompting are going to go away eventually. The prompts will go away.
We can do that now.
Because
so just
the
let's
machines
be clear.
will prompt.
Just like technology in military, technology in AI is 6 months ahead of where you know it to be. In military, it's 6, 10 years, 30 years. You don't hear about the new weapons until they have to use them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the B-2 bomber, the first stealth, was made in the 50s, and we didn't hear about it until the 80s. You know what I mean? So, but with this stuff, it's 6-8 months already done. So there's stuff that it does that you don't know about right now. Like think about ChatGPT was trying to, I was called OpenAI. OpenAI was trying to compete with Gemini with their Nano Banana and all that stuff and their imaging and video quality stuff. And then boom, Claude shows up and blows it out the game with Cowork. And everybody dumps OpenAI and goes to Claude.
Yes.
And now they dump all of it. I think they even turned Sora off the other day. They dump it all to go to, okay, America really likes to play here, but they don't really care that much about it. So let's go all in on this Cowork agent stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what they're coming through with. You're not going to see it for 6-8 months, but when it comes out, it's probably going to be ridiculous because it's going to be better than what Cowork is. And Cowork is wild. If you've not using it yet, it's amazing. So like my thought is, and I know of stuff that top tier companies are working on in my industry that I know about just because of a situation I'm in, that it does, that isn't even thought about being able to do right now. So if I go talk to a normal mortgage person, they're going to be like, no, that's not possible. So but I know this because of an inside scoop.
Let's use your industry to paint the real world example.
Sure. You want me to do that?
So the kind of the layers of your business.
So the only thing that's going to save people in 2 years is licensing.
That's what I want to understand. And actually, to that point, I think it was my dad said, "But you are licensed."
Yes,
said, well, that's true.
That's it.
That's true. And unless they
in 2 years, it's going to be the only thing that I told the loan officers. I said, "You're lucky that you need to be licensed, because if you don't need to be licensed, you can't license AI." Now that may all change. They may allow it.
Now, is it possible? Because within the framework of this conversation, I think it's possible that there might be more licensing that comes about to preserve human purpose within the framework of supporting what machines can do.
So the thing that's going to happen, and I'm going to tell you how this is going to work, because it's already starting to flow this way. So one, let's just start with underwriting. It's going to suck at first. It's going to be overly conservative. It's going to be overly aggressive. Like the difference between like a good loan officer and a great loan officer is their ability to say, okay, don't supply the underwriter with these documents. All right, let's move the income here. Let's use this income, not use this income. Let's go 1 2-year tax terms. Let's go 2. So the ability to move that income around and move what you supply underwriting around so that you get the highest performing income, credit, asset platform
Now, is this
for
what
that
you
client.
is this what you refer to as general thinking? Is
No,
this
talking about AGI?
yes?
Well, yeah, general intelligence is different than what some people think. General intelligence is like
Explain that.
it's got full capability of thinking on its own, which is really multi-level tasking. So currently you can't like set it on a path and it can do multitasks with decision trees without having to
continually
spend
prompting.
all that continuous prompting.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So like
It
a
does.
human can do that. I can know, okay, if I dig a hole and I hit a rock, then I got to do something
Yeah.
different.
Okay. So
right?
this helpful for probably our audience and even for me for you
Yeah.
to define that
So
because
just think of it as multi-level.
so it's
decision
already
making.
it's already happening, but right now it's extremely effective if you prompt it along the way. If you prompt it along the way, what
Or
you're
you
saying
create
is,
the decision tree. So it can't just
gotcha.
be, it knows like how to do things, but it doesn't have the ability to do that multi-step stuff. So like that's going to be without programming.
and that's where everyone goes away because right now there's value in someone with expertise to prompt the machine to get the best answer. But
Correct. With its ability to have general, and again, my opinion on that stance is that they do make announcements that are untrue to increase valuations of their companies. They've been doing this and they shift money around so that they can keep the valuation up because they don't want to see a bubble burst in their world. So that, I don't know if that's true or not. I would love to see what it would look like if it is true. But it does have capabilities to represent itself as general intelligence to the normal public, right? But there's really behind the scenes, because there used to be a thing that they used to call it AI texting, but it was really just decision tree texting. If they said the word yes, send this response. If they said the word no, send this response. It didn't have the ability to think. Now it can actually read the language and make a response to the language. That's where AI steps in as actually a language model. Where, in the past it would call itself and it would represent itself like it's thinking, but all it really did is just pick up the keyword no and then send the exact response you programmed it to do. Now it can actually understand what you're saying and respond correctly. In the future, it'll be able to think, right? Like know who they're talking to, why they're talking to them, what the reasoning is behind this conversation. And if they say certain things, it'll know that you got to do this next. It'll do steps.
Okay, so without licensing.
So in my world, this is what's going to happen. So this is what I think is going to happen. Because again, I'm not I'm not the smartest guy in the room. So this is what I think is going to happen. I think that the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to increase capacity for humans. So right now, if a borrower gets, and this is how we do it. If a borrower comes in, let's say they get texted to us from a realtor, or we get a family member that reaches out for a referral, or we get a lead, they come to us in some manner. And then the loan officer will then reach out to the borrower and do a goals call with them, a detailed goals call, and try and figure out what their true goals, if it's a home purchase of what they're doing, or if it's a refi, what their true goals are. Then they'll either take the application with them on the phone while they type in the data, or they'll send them a link and the borrower then will take the application. And all of that is just set structured forms. Mm-hmm. So it's fill this in, fill this in, fill this in, and then it's an if then. If they say they're a veteran, do this. If they say ask this question. But they're all set forms with if thens. That is going to drastically change. So it's already available, the capability of while they're on the phone, it listens to the phone call. So if the phone is the format, all the loan officer is going to have to do is ask the questions. The screen will pop up, and this is already out there. It'll pop up red flags. Hey, I noticed they said this. Ask about this. Hey, I noticed they said this. Ask about that.
So the licensed loan officer is getting the cues.
Correct. That's where this is going to go to.
Okay.
Then as they ask the questions, they're not going to have to type anything. It's going to pull take the data out of the conversation because it's going to be a recorded conversation and imported into the forms. So no need to type or fill out 1003s. If you send the link to the client, it won't be a simple form format. It will literally be a conditional formatted question sequence, like when you go to AI and ask it a question.
Yeah, where it puts in a multiple choice and click, 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 click.
Correct, you got it. And it'll ask you one question at a time, and as you answer it, it'll change the next question.
Yeah.
Right? So that's conditional formatted questions so that it gets all of the data out. Because the biggest hurdle and this is my opinion, the biggest hurdle in lending is the limited capacity for the loan officer to know all the scenarios so that they ask all the right questions. So the application is the biggest fail point in mortgages because things get missed, and where they get found usually is either when you receive the documents or when it's already in underwriting, and then that blows up the purchase. So what this does is that will give this the ability to, as it's having the conversation, pull the fraud, right? Pull information from data, pull the soft pull credit up front. So while it's having the conversation with the client, or while you're having the conversation with the client, or while they're having either the conversation with the front end, which will be an AI system, where they're either talking to it or typing, it's doing in the back end, pulling the credit once they give permission, and pulling the fraud guard once they give authorization, so that those questions can come up in application. Because there's a fraud guard they pull that stuff comes up on. Or there's CAVers that they may have a CAVers default that stuff comes up on. Or there's credit reports, of course, that stuff comes up on. So while they're still in the conversation, behind the scenes, these things are getting done without any of the loan officer's interaction. So that then it just pops up, hey, this showed up on their credit. Ask them about this default, this collection, this issue with, CAVers default. This issue on fraud says they own a business. This issue of this property shows up on fraud. So it'll do that all in the back end. So this loan officer will be like super application taker with not having to have a high level skill set.
This all fits in terms of what we think this tool is able to achieve today and moving forward.
So
it streamlines the process. Yep. It makes it more accurate.
Yep.
And along the way, it's eliminating checks and balances and roles that would have ordinarily had to been in place in order to catch this stuff and process this
99% of that stuff is available right now.
Yeah.
And all of it is actually. It's just building it out. Then, as we all know, as you put the file together, you run this thing called DU or LP, which are findings. Basically, it's an online automated system. So it then pushes back on you if it's approved or not, or what it is. So that will all get done while you're on the phone with the borrower. So you'll have a full file with validations, and then it'll automatically trigger for requests for documents from the client. There's also a ton of verification systems and a ton of third parties you can use to get I can get an account check. If they log into their bank statements through this third party that's super secure and it's verified, I can pull down the metadata for their bank statements so I don't have to ask them for anything. Same thing with the employment verification stuff. There's a lot of ways to get those two things. Now, if they're self-employed, they still have to supply that.
Who's next in the process?
So that's all done by the loan officer. So that'll all be done automatically without the loan officer's interaction. Then it'll validate, calculate the income.
So do loan officers get paid less in the future?
Does.
Everyone gets paid less?
I don't know I don't think at first, loan officers are going to have a real good cash money run, right? Because they're the ones that are the influencers. Mm-hmm. So really the loan officers run the show because they influence the people to come work for them or come work with them. So they're going to be the longest term of moneymakers in this world. Okay. Because they're the ones that bring the business, right? So whoever the influencers are, because in all reality, that's really what's going to change. Loan officers will be influencers, people driving business, social media.
Who in your business was cut out of this process?
The very first people are going to be processors.
Processors. That makes sense.
Yeah, because all they're doing is validating data. They're updating the system. They're doing orders.
You've given this example before where you used to have towers, buildings filled with people running calculations.
My mom was one of them. So way back, my mom's 87 years old. Her first job was doing math on paper because she's really good at math.
And so as technology advanced,
now that's all
historically, new jobs have been created.
Towers of people, and this is straight from Elon Musk's mouth too. So towers of people doing math. And now it's all done on an Excel spreadsheet or on databases. And if you took one of those cells out and made it human, You screw up the whole efficiency and speed of that spreadsheet.
Yeah, so I think I'm connecting the dots with where you stand on this, and we've had conversations offline. Are we getting to a point with technological advancement that there's no longer jobs to be created on the other side of it?
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're getting to.
Yes.
But on the other side of it all along the way, some blue-collar jobs went away, white-collar
Blue-collar jobs will always be there.
So, okay, that's interesting.
Because the robots won't be able to actually function well and do actions for a while. Because mechanics are different. Robotic mechanics is further behind than AI is. So the ability to do the job and physically think and know is going to be there before the ability for the robots to actually do the action.
And this is consistent with, from financial advising, public markets, private equity standpoint, there's more fear that the first to go are white collar positions.
If you work on a computer on a daily basis, you're going to be gone soon. And I don't mean like 6 months soon. I mean like 5 to 10 years soon.
So then as part of this transition to white collar, then some white collar positions and personnel are forced to then learn and take on blue collar jobs.
If I was trying to have a successful business for a longer period of time, my thought would be to create a system in which I drive business to blue collar workers.
Interesting.
So I create an AI business where there's no employees in it, right? Nobody in the job. There's 0 employees, but all it does is set up jobs for me to subcontract blue collar workers.
Okay.
So like, home remodelers, painters, HVAC, where someone can go in, because I did it the other day. I was like, I just took pictures of my whole house and I want to remodel it. And I said, okay, change it to this color walls, change it to this color floor, change the cabinets to this color, add a new island, change the countertops to this color. And it kept the entire format of my house, including all the paper. And I said, add pictures here, add new pictures here. It did a full design of my house. And I said, hey, tell me what you think I should do. And it gave me, and design is one of my passions, as we all know, which is super weird. It gave me some really good ideas. It's gotten pretty good at that. But just the thought of if I'm an interior designer.
Which tool did you use for that?
I use ChatGPT for that, but Nano Banana's really good at that.
Okay.
Grok's really good. They're all really good. At the imaging, I want to say Gemini's the best for image generation.
Okay.
Now, if you want to make people do stupid stuff, Grok's pretty good, where there's no limitations.
Gotcha.
You can make 2 guys do whatever, a guy and a girl do. It's wild. That's why they're getting sued by the British government. But Gemini's the best for image generation right now. That's where, OpenAI was trying to go after them, and they ended up getting smoked out on the other side by Claude for co-work stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so long story short, that, and then you drive a cost analysis on what that would cost to do, whatever remodel you put in there, whatever you put in the images, and then drive a scheduled appointment for those blue collar workers to go out there.
And this business model has got some contractual arrangement with the blue collar operators.
And then all your job from there is just to go and find the contractors to go and do the jobs. You make your bid, they agreed on it, they pay for it up front, because that's the hardest part about business is getting your money up front, so they can literally make the decisions with no employees. The decision's been made on what you want it to look like. You can get a bid, they can accept the bid, they can pay for the bid or whatever, 50% or whatever your deal is you want to take up front, and they can schedule you to get them out there.
So in this new environment, which is just around the corner, one of your recs is create a service model leveraging AI, no personnel or no support staff, funneling and leveraging what you think will be around longer, which is blue-collar service positions. The handymen, painters, HVAC, plumbing, electricians, etc., remodelers, the construction side.
Home builders would be like this soon. That's another great one, be an AI home builder where you do the whole house online. The borrower has the ability through the software, through the AI system, really, to create the whole house.
So knowing
make sure it's functional, it's architecturally correct, and it does all of that information from an engineering standpoint, and then gives you the blueprints.
Now, everyone up to this point isn't entrepreneurial. Unless everyone turns that switch on, which we'll assume not everyone's going to turn it on. What's kind of the next tier in respect to your recommendations as to how you should best position yourself. If you're not going to create something, what should you pursue?
You got to create a business that sells stuff with no employees, because stuff still needs to be sold.
What about people who just want to be an employee? What should they pursue?
Well, for the time, you talking about for long term or short
I'm
term?
talking
Short term, it's
long
you got to
term.
learn how to use AI. Like you really do. I have some old people here, older people, because I'm old, but older people in their 60s and 70s right now that work here, and I'm doing twice a week we're doing AI training.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so it's like you have to learn how to utilize it, because if you can't leverage it, then you're going to have issues. Or the company you work for has to build something out that is easy for you to use, which is coming in our industry. Because that's the next step. For us, it's going to be, they're just going to be working off tablets. That's the future of mortgages, is like loan officers don't need a computer. They're going to have an AI assistant and they work off a tablet. That's just it. They're going to be doing their business off a tablet. And that AI assistant they'll be talking with on a daily basis and prompting verbally to make adjustments to the file.
Yeah, in that particular example, that's an attractive result to me. Like that looks
for the
like,
loan officer.
Yeah, for the loan officer.
For the underwriter and processor and the closer and the funder, you're not going to need as many of them.
Right.
It's a very unattractive job for me.
Yeah.
So it's all what position you're in. If you're the person that brings the business in, that then gets managed and handled by AI, you're going to have some time. If you're licensed and it's a licensed activity, it's going to take a little bit of time for all of us to be okay, to be like, all right, let's get rid of those licensing requirements.
Yeah, so I'm kind of framing in my mind just on the fly kind of this top 5 of how you can position yourself. One, you're creating. And of course, you're leveraging this tool along the way. You're creating, utilizing the tool. 2, you're positioned because you're licensed. 3, blue collar jobs aren't going away. Robotics isn't replacing you tomorrow or anytime in the near future.
Yep.
Those are like the top 3 that I'm taking from this conversation.
Yep.
Anything else come to mind?
I think storefronts. People like to go to storefronts again.
All right, so
Online shopping is starting to die off because the quality of stuff is not. You can't validate quality.
okay. So I think this then opens up a whole different kind of conversation, because this is the human experience, the human control, what humans want. So we outline our top 3, but then you open up something that isn't the most efficient, it isn't the most practical, it's not the most cost efficient either.
Yep.
Storefronts, human experience, what
They don't want humans. Just so we're clear, the weird thing about me is I'm very similar to the younger generation, where I just want to walk in the store and look at clothes. I'm telling you right now, they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to touch you. In fact, the only reason that I get a call on a Sunday and says, hey, can you help me get this person pre-approved, is because that person never wants to talk to me or a loan officer. Because now it's like, oh, I got to put on my, I'm going to get sold pants.
That's for shopping.
When you go to a store, I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm like, this is the worst portion of my day when hey, do you need help? I'm always the first, no, I'm good. I'm just looking. I'll grab you if I need you. And I'm polite about it. I'm like, hey, I'm just looking, guy. When I find something,
I'm different. I don't mind that conversation.
I'm a human interactor, but when I'm focused on something, I don't, because I'm outgoing. I mean, I'm like, I'm very personable, but it's just like when I'm focused on going shopping, I just want to find what I need to find, and then I'll grab them if I need their help. But there's nothing there, because they're going to start throwing me pants I don't want. They're going to start, hey, why don't you try this shirt with it?
Okay, well, that's
And I'm
true.
like, oh, this is not even close to me. You don't know me enough to be able to help me in this situation, and I don't want to be rude. So that's why it makes it difficult for me, because if I was a person who'd just be like, hey, dude, can you just stop? If I had that ability in me, then it would be easier.
Okay, so that's true. I agree with that. I agree with that when it comes to shopping for things like clothes.
Yeah,
that's a good example. What about going out to eat or other experiential kind of environments?
Depends on what type of restaurant. Like, do I like the restaurants where the waiter knows all about the food and goes in depth and talks about it and recommends stuff? Half of what I say I like, yes. But those aren't in here. That's not, 99% of the restaurants I go to aren't like that. The 1-2 I go to a year like that. So that's cool. But the one that we're like, what do you want? All right, boom, 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 here you go. We don't need that. That doesn't.
Now, are you envisioning that people who otherwise take advantage of Uber Eats or DoorDash and things like that, the environment within a restaurant will look like that? They're ordering off of.
Why do you think there's tablets and you can pay off the receipt? Like, that's
efficiency?
Super. Yes.
Efficiency.
And people don't care. Yeah. And you can cheapen it up. So if they told you tomorrow you're going to lose all the waiters, let's say First Watch, No more waiters. There's going to be a tablet on the table that you order from. And then when you want to pay, you scan your receipt or you pay right off the tablet. But
I
your
hear
bill, no tip needed. Bill's cheaper.
Yeah, you're taking that out.
Who's saying no?
The wait staff. That's it.
The people that are losing their jobs.
That's
now,
right.
I feel bad about that because I am a human, right? I wouldn't want that to happen. So I'd pay more so they don't lose their jobs. But if you take out the emotional aspect of it,
yeah,
no one wants it because it's cheaper and it's easier and it's faster and it's cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got to move to the kitchen.
Yeah, that's it. So that's where it's going.
Yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
just human. The only thing slowing it down is just humans' ability to be okay with it.
Yeah, human interference.
Yes.
But can't human interference come into play even after they're okay with it? I see the picture.
Human interference isn't a 5 or a 10-year gestation period. It's like 2 years. Humans adapt relatively quickly.
I know. I'm viewing human interference through the lens of preservation of human roles to preserve their ability to make money, that being their interference. You know, like
so the only way humans would interfere with it is if people really do truly die, starve, go broke. So if the government doesn't step in and subsidize for the job loss, humans will still pay more because humans do have human guilt, human feelings.
Yeah.
Right? So that would be a human interference.
So
So they would be held back because I don't want to fire people. I don't want someone to lose their job. Because in all reality, people don't wake up and go, I'm going to do evil today, right? They think what they're doing is they make villains of people to do bad things to them, or they think they're doing right by what they're doing. But that would be the human interference I would agree with, where people are like, well, there's going to be 10 more homeless people because of what this? Then no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
That I agree with. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Because you think government subsidy, government legislation is going to step in to accommodate
I think it's all going
this
utopian.
changing
We had
landscape.
this conversation.
I know we have it. We never sent me the
I gotta send it to you.
episodes that you told me I need to listen to
gotta
because
send
I
it
want to
you.
be able to push back.
Utopian
against this.
society is going to happen. And why wouldn't you think it would happen? So like utopian society to me is that people can be wherever they want in homes, right?
Well, one of the reasons I pushed against that was I thought there'd be a limit.
You'll be more transient.
There'd be a limit to the amount of people that could live in a particular pocket where most people would desire to be.
No, there's no limit.
Because you're
It's going to be transient. Like people are transient already. That's why Airbnb is so popular. That's why Uber is popular. The reason people don't use that more is because it's not cost effective yet.
now,
Because people still have to
but
be
there
involved.
still would be a limit.
What are you talking about? What if I told you we can blink tomorrow and you can go live in any home for any period of time?
Oh.
Anywhere in the world, at any time, for any period of time. You just got to find one that's open, and we have vehicles that will get you there.
So where does supply and demand come into play in this conversation?
Goes away. That's what utopian means.
That doesn't make sense to me.
There's no supply or demand.
How are you eliminating supply and demand? How are you eliminating that?
What do you mean?
People are going to want to go to that top tier destination.
There's 50 top tier destinations.
But there's still a limit.
Yeah, but you could say, okay, I want to go to this one or that one or this one. There's thousands of them.
Yeah, I know, but that drives supply and demand. That is fundamental behind what it takes then to get to that top tier.
So what happens if you want to go? You want to go to Florida, but Florida doesn't have any availability. Do you just not go on a vacation?
As it currently stands, there's
You got a vacation, you want to go to Florida, do you not go to Florida? Or for instance, you want to go to Mexico now. There's a civil war in Mexico. Do you just not go on vacation this year? Or do you pick a different destination?
Well, that's true, but the framework on that example is a little different.
It's the same thing.
It's a little different. If we all
You say everybody's going to want to live. Now they'll set rules and parameters. You can only be in certain areas for certain periods of time.
all right, well now
That's simple. That's a simple solution to something you're calling as a detailed problem. That's a simple solution.
No, I don't see that. I don't see that
Availability,
working out that
and
way.
you can only be there for so long. Yeah. Uber's the same way, right?
Yeah, to a certain extent. But as it stands today, there are certain destinations, supply, demand, the cost of those destinations is outside the reach for many people to afford.
Correct.
So then there's all these tiers and layers, and that's based on supply, demand. It's based on that fundamental.
Mhm.
And so in this future world, you seem to be painting a picture. It's It's like an equalizing effect.
This is way past me and you living. Like, just so we're clear. It's
But-
never happened. I told you this. It's never happening in our lifetime.
But it does seem like per this projection, like you're eliminating the human element for some people to, one, be able to box out other people from some of the extraordinary experiences that they have, whether they've worked for and have had great success, or they've inherited money, or whatever it may be. But in this future iteration of this world, everyone is okay with being kind of on equal ground. Everyone is okay with sharing the same amount of everything. That there are no people looking to get ahead. There are no people that fall behind. Everyone just...
No, that's what virtual reality is for.
Gosh almighty.
100%. You have to create it. I told you this.
Oh, that sounds
So
awful.
if you have utopian society, you have to create realistic virtual reality where you can do adversity stuff.
So
You
these are
can
the...
come ahead. Listen, I'm telling you this as a gamer. I feel really good when I win levels. I feel really good when I beat a game. It is a very high level of success fulfillment when you do that. That's why I do it, because it's another one of those things. When you want to be successful and do things, you want to do it all the time. Well, when it's nighttime in my house, if I'm not working and I'm burnt out from working, I go play a video game, and then I get that same level of, okay, I can finish these. I stopped playing them because I would stay up all night.
Mm-hmm.
So I've completely ixnayed video games because I would literally be a whole weekend no sleep. So that's why I don't do it, because you get all that success endorphin, right?
I feel like this will trigger
gonna
a
happen?
response from you. This feels like the gamification of life, but perhaps it already exists. And you've talked
You
about...
gamify life right now.
I know, but this seems like gamifying in the way that you describe gaming. And so we would be groomed from a young age to
We
be...
are.
And I know we are. But it just seems like, wow, that's where we're going?
100%. All of your adversity, all of your success, all of your advancement in life will happen in a realistic virtual reality.
Now, here's the deal. This doesn't appeal to me.
What's the difference if you do it in virtual reality in real life? What is the worth of the shirt on your chest?
It looks nice on me.
I'm just saying, of my sweatshirt, what's the worth of it? Of a watch, it's metal. If you took that watch back to caveman times, they'd be like, what?
No, I know, but...
What is this?
Okay,
Why
but-
is that more than this piece of metal over here? Because some guy put a label on it?
Now that's
It's
more...
the same metal.
That's more so like your individual perspective on the fundamental
We
flaw
have-
in the
So
value of things.
We haven't created value. We create value to show success. We create it. There is no value in it. There is more diamonds on this earth than you could ever imagine. There's so many diamonds that if they put them all in the market, they would be worthless. But to us, this thing is the greatest thing that ever happened.
I know, and what I can't figure out
That's
is...
a created... let me finish. That is a created value. We create value because a t-shirt, like the one guy used to work with us, he used to buy these $400 t-shirts, and they look like something you bought from a secondhand store.
I know, but
That's a created value. There's no difference in the fabric.
Oh, I know, and we've been doing this, and we keep doing this.
We do it.
But what you're painting is everyone's going to agree upon...
We create value in this system. There's hierarchies. There's levels of winning. What I'm worth is really in virtual reality. And then your living happens when you want to come out of it.
I feel like so many of the ingredients, and you can go off on tangents about like the value of diamond, the value of gold,
Yeah,
of
for sure.
t-shirt, of shoes,
Sure.
of cars, of homes,
Yeah.
of
It's creative.
furniture. This one costs $10,000. That one's
Yeah,
$500. They both are perfectly comfortable. A lot of this seems like you are conveniently just washing away.
So you're saying you're utilizing it in today's standards. And I'm agreeing with you. It'll never happen in today's people. This is not for today's people. You're talking my aspect of what I think 100 years from now.
But how are you rewiring? But people have always established value or overvalue in any number of ways,
Yep.
on any number of things.
Mm-hmm.
And in this future iteration of this life, you're removing that ingredient from the human's desire to do that.
Things are going to get so expensive that people are just going to give up from stuff.
Interesting.
That's what's going to happen. There's no way I can buy a house because it's way too expensive. There's no way I can
Who will buy
afford-
the house?
No one will own the house.
No one will own the house.
No one will own the house.
I don't see this.
I mean, BlackRock's buying a ton of properties. They're not doing it
Yeah,
for
they
fun.
are. They
They're
are.
not doing it for fun.
So they own the house.
I tell people all the time, like, listen, you got to watch the trends. Why are they doing it? Why is this happening? Well, then start doing deductive reasoning. For instance, in my world, why is everybody buying up servicing right now? It's like the hottest thing in my industry. How much do we have in servicing? I'll give you $11 billion for your servicing platform. Servicing didn't just automatically become extremely, it is very valuable, but it just didn't. That's not why are people chasing that? Because they know that's where refinances are going to come from. It's going to be impossible to get a refinance, or not impossible, but very difficult to get a refinance in the future. You think about it, you log in to pay your mortgage, right? And you pay it online.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more people do it now, right? Because people didn't want to do it online. Why would I pay my mortgage online? I'm going to send a check. My dad, why would I use that card? I don't need a debit card, right? So yes, there has been transitions from what is acceptable and what is not. Because he doesn't have a debit card because he's old as heck. And he doesn't even know what that is. So if he can't go get cash, he's screwed, right? So that being said, he doesn't have a debit card. Now, move on to mortgages. People are going to pay their mortgage online. And when they go to pay it online, they're going to go ahead and at that point when they pay it online, they're going to go ahead and give them a list of all the things that they have available. Do you refinance with us now? Click this button. This is your new payment. If you get cash out, click this button. So getting a refinance, someone did not already been hit 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 times by their servicer before they actually look to refi, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So that's why people are buying servicing, right? That's transition of an industry. Same thing with why is large corporations buying all these homes? Why? You tell me why. Why would the 2 largest institutions of cash flow be buying homes?
I mean, and you're extrapolating this to this long-standing position.
People are going to start to rent them first, and then eventually they'll be almost like an Airbnb your house.
Yeah, I mean, like the plainest answer is, well, they're buying these because they see there's, the financial motivation. They see the upside in the investment. It's an investment, and they're doubling and tripling down on us. They obviously think it's a very good investment. But as part of this longer term picture, you think it is one of the best investments.
I don't know if I'm the smartest guy. I'm definitely not the smartest guy in the rooms I go into. So I can't say that I'm 100% right. So that's just my opinion, is that they're buying it for this long-term stuff. Yes. I think you're going to – listen, I had an argument with Todd, and he denies that we had it, but we had a full-on argument and bet that by the time we're 60, people won't have cars. It'll be mostly car services. Now, if you have a car, it would be because it's just, hey, I want to have a car.
Yeah.
But it'll be car services. Because if they can get
how long
if
ago,
they can automatically get a car to your door within 3 minutes, why would you own a car?
How long ago did you have this argument with Todd?
8 years ago.
See, you're a forward thinker.
Because I was like, maybe
now
6 years ago, maybe 6. It was when Uber started to get real popular.
Yeah, it's looking like you're going to win that bet.
Yeah, correct it is.
Yeah.
Whenever Uber, maybe that was 8 years ago when Uber. Yeah, it was 8 because it was 2015. So
Okay.
what is that, 8 years? It's a little bit over 8 years ago,
Yeah.
right? So it's 9 years ago. I had that argument with them. Yeah. And I still think it's true. I still think that if cars are eventually getting to a point where they can just show up at your house, and once they can do that within 3 minutes and be automatically driven, it's over. Why would I have a car? I wouldn't want a car. I'm not a car person. Now, if I was a car person, let me have a car so I can do X, Y, Z. But I don't that's eventually what's going to happen with houses. People don't even use hotels as much.
Well,
The whole hotel industry is getting crushed.
I predominantly use Airbnbs, and sometime when I ask that question without thinking all the
Who
way
would have
through,
thought about that 10 years ago?
I know.
20 years ago. Imagine 20 years ago. We're going to go on vacation, and we're going to rent someone's house for a week on a normal street of normal people.
I know. It's a much more enjoyable experience
Way
for a
more
family
enjoyable.
of our size, certainly. We can all fit. It's comfortable.
Why not want to do that consistently throughout the years?
Well, what do you mean?
while you're living. Why wouldn't you want to do that? What if you had the ability to just go? So if you had here, let's just start here.
All right.
My question for you is real simple. If you could choose where you lived for, let's say, 2-3 months at a time, and you could move all over the country and live there for 2-3 months at a time, all over the world even, 2-3 months at a time, would you do that? Would that be cooler than owning your current home and always having to live in it?
Yeah, see, that's a setup question.
Just answer the question.
Well, of course.
Of course it is. So now you're saying, and I would agree, that's probably good for a majority of humans. If not, I mean, not all of them, because some of them don't like to leave their house, but I'm saying a majority of normal humans. If you draw that across 10 normal humans, 9 say yes. Right?
I agree. That's never been possible.
So now the possibility of it is the only issue. Not the want, not the desire, just the possibility, correct?
And the supply.
That's a possibility.
Okay.
So if they can cure the possibility issue.
Why aren't they just experiencing this in this virtual reality that you paint in the home that they live in that they never leave?
Because experience is different than virtual reality.
It is. I know. That's where this isn't so straightforward. There's a limited supply.
No, because so the issue is you're going to remove adversity. But you're going to want to still live and have your normal touch, feel stuff. So the success and adversity gains you get will be in virtual reality.
I know.
Because you still want the, oh, I won. Oh, I did something successful. Oh, I did something good. So I got a reward for that.
Will there still be...
And that will be through...
There will still be athletics and athletics for entertainment in this future
sure,
world?
Of course there will be. People will be really active in the future world. I think that's the one thing that people screw up. I think they'll be more active and more fit. One, because of body modification, genetic modification, drugs, things that you can do to your body to make yourself fit. Like you won't have fat people. You won't have, people that, are unfit. You won't have a lot of your health issues, back pains, knee pains. They'll be able to handle all those. So that's all gone. People will be more fit, more active, more doing. And so that's the other thing is like, those people that do, they like to live. Think about that. People live in vans, and it's popular to watch them because people enjoy that.
I know.
Because they get to drive around and it's a big thing. People want this.
I can relate to that.
Especially if they're active.
I do watch those people.
Well, think about it.
Camping out in the middle of nowhere and then taking their van down to the next
and you could do all
state
those
park.
things.
Yeah.
Because physical, the ability for people to physically be able to do that stuff is limiting. So there's a lot more people that want to camp. There's a lot more people that want to hike. There's a lot more people that want to run. There's a lot more people that want to do cool stuff like that, ski, do stuff like that. But their physical ability limits them. That's going to be gone too, my man.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
That's going to be all gone.
This is like a magic wand.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, think about the future of medicines. They've figured out the creation of the drug that limits your body from making muscle.
I know, you mentioned that the other day.
They've physically created stuff that can, of course, like you have all the different, weight loss drugs that are out there, things like that. But this is just the beginning.
It makes sense that everything is just the beginning of kind of the next wave of advancements.
Yes.
And from the start of this conversation, you're painting a picture in which advancements are accelerating at an unprecedented rate.
Unprecedented.
And I would agree with that.
Every 6 months, something different is going to come out. So we just all have to be ready for it. I appreciate discussing this. I love opposite
Are we going to become better at
opinions.
golf?
Yes.
Well, how's that possible? Because I've dedicated a lot of time.
You and me will never get any of
better.
Just so we're clear, and everybody watching, we will never get any of this.
Oh,
maybe my daughter Evelyn or Vivian, which she's 7, so maybe she'll get some of this. We won't. I don't think the genetic modification stuff will be available for a little bit. But again, everything changes once it goes generally intelligent. Once it can actually think and make decisions, because right now it just pulls data in and makes decisions off of.
How quickly?
If he's right now.
Yeah, so that's around the corner.
So that's the issue. Is like it only can pull data and make a decision from data. It can't physically think for itself. It can't determine or it can't make stuff that isn't already available. It can't think of, oh, here's the cure for cancer. Here's the cure for spinal issues. It can't do that because it's not generally intelligent. So it doesn't have that ability. So that being said, that's coming. So stuff that we all got to be ready for. And then at that point, then yeah, if it happens in our lifetime, it'll go real quick. I'm just hoping for balding. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I'm like here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right.
I'm still hanging on to a little bit up here.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you. I think that we're gonna have a visitor on the next one. So
All right,
I
good.
appreciate you getting with me today. And as always, I appreciate your opinions and your opposites. And I like the discussion. So I
I enjoyed this one.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.